With the end of COVID-0 and pandemic controls in China, many more people are traveling back to their hometowns for the Lunar New Year festival. And our next guest sees Chinese consumption in the year ahead driven by mental and physical health needs. Let's bring in Sam Rodwin. He's president, CEO at Enhance International. So interesting way of looking at how COVID-0 ending, how China reopening is going to affect the economy, because we think, oh, are people going to go on trips and are they going to go out and buy more stuff? But you're looking at medical expenditures. What do you see there?
Okay, so there is one measure that I would like to point out, which is basically medical literacy, right? And simply put, this is a term that looks at how aware you are as an individual about your health exposure, opportunities for preventive care, et cetera, so on and so forth. And this is a measure that has been tracked by the health ministry in China for over a decade. And what we found is that there is a very strong correlation between the medical literacy in China and health expenditure. The correlation is strong enough that it's around 0.9%, which is a very strong correlation. What that tells you is that there is less of an influence on what the market conditions are on healthcare spending than it is on the increase in medical literacy. On average, it's been growing slightly under 2% over the past 15 years. But then what happened, interestingly enough, in the year 2020 is it spiked to a 6% increase. And that's because of the onset of COVID. From what I've seen firsthand in Beijing in December, our estimate is that you may see an even newer record in 2023 in terms of that area. And as you may be aware, medical expenditure is roughly just slightly under 9% of the total wallet of the Chinese household. Right. And that doesn't even take into consideration what we call medical tourism.
Okay, well, let's talk about medical tourism, how that enters into the picture and how it's growing.
Our view is basically based on the research that we've done, okay, that there is a pent-up demand for medical tourism to the point where we don't necessarily see the spending coming in more gradually. We may actually see it peak around the summer timeframe, and you may even see a slowdown sometime in the fourth quarter of this year, right? And because so many of those individuals are looking to get the newer vaccines, et cetera, they are very concerned about long COVID and reinfection, et cetera, so on and so forth, that it may come in sooner than you think in terms of that situation. But it's obviously going to depend on how much the flights open up in the countries that they're keen on going to.
Sam, if the experience of other countries is a guide, there have been a wave of COVID outbreaks, one after another. How do you see China and Chinese consumers responding to this when it almost certainly happens?
That is an excellent question, because when I was in Beijing, as you're aware, Beijing was inflicted by BF7. And we were tracking also the symptoms in Guangzhou. And it was very clear that for the different variant, there were different symptoms. And in Beijing, the main symptom that seemed to be different from what you saw in Guangzhou was a debilitating fever that took you away from work for at least a week, in some cases longer, right? So the question is, now that all bets are off, will the south and the western part of China get reinfected? And will this prior immunization that they got, will that help address the fact that BF7 has different characteristics and different impact on productivity? That's something that we're definitely keeping a close eye on after people return back to work.
All right, Sam Radwan, unfortunately, we're out of